Hello, I am live and also kind of a few minutes late. I just got like logged out of YouTube. Something strange. Something always strange happens to me right before I do a live stream. I don't understand why. But anyway, here we are. I've made it. It is I, Becca Laurie Hector, here with Growing Gratitude every Monday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, where we talk about the challenges of being an autistic adult alive right now and how we motivate ourselves through the challenges and how we get through it with gratitude and all of those wonderful things. And so that's what we do here. And so I hope you'll share in the chat. I hope you will get involved in the conversation because here we are, ready to go. It is really dark in here because it is really dark outside, and I am working on that. This back corner over here bothers me and its sadness. But anyway, working on that, and here we are. Let us begin today with some honesty. Becca's not feeling so great. I'm not. I've been really kind of depressed the last week or so, and actually, I feel like it began with the election results, and it just I feel like I went and descended into like a pit of sadness. Like the seasonal depression hit at the same time as I've been challenged by chronic illness, and now there's no sunshine and I can't go outside to stay moving and all of these things. And I've also shifted kind of what I'm doing, and all of these changes kind of caught up with me this weekend, and I had like a huge dose of just kind of sadness and like a longing that I think other autistics will understand for like a new special interest or an exciting adventure or something, as a way to sort of up that dopamine. But I didn't do any of those things. I sat in it, which is something that I haven't done in a really long time. And there are, I think, a couple of different ways that you can sit in your sadness and sit in your depression. One of them is that you can sit in it for a few days and it becomes a little bit of an addiction or an obsession. And Fiona, you can come on, Fee, the dog. Maybe she'll make an entrance. Um, she's currently giant Great Dane, afraid to walk through the door because there's a light in her way. But anyway, so I kind of sat in it. And so if you sit in that depression, right, it can become a little bit addicting, not just sitting in your sadness. And you can get yourself into a loop. And so I was kind of being aware of that, and sometimes going out and doing something, or looking for something that brings you joy, gets you out of that loop, and you kind of keep going. But again, I wanted to sit in it a little bit because I wasn't really sure where it was coming from. Right. When I look around at what was going on for me in my life and all those things, and other than um, the election, I was just like, my life is really pretty great. Right. I don't have anything to really complain about. Right. And so where does that depression come from? And this, I think, is the challenge for a lot of people who have long-term depression, like I do, who've had it most of their lives, will have it till the day they take the grave. That is certainly my case. Right. And so some of it is not even in my control that it happens, right? And that kind of thing. And it's not going to be going anywhere. And so you have to kind of learn to figure it out, and how to live with it. And so part of my concern was that I don't really have an initiator, or I didn't feel like I had an initiator for this set of depression when I looked around at my life. And so I was thinking, like, really, could it be the election that really kicked this off for me? Could it be that distressing to me? And I've done a really good job about self-care around it, meaning I've really almost eliminated any conversation around it because it is so unempowering to talk about. There's really nothing to be done about it that I can do or we can do on our level of things, right? And we also have no way to anticipate what the repercussions of this situation are going to be. We can sit in that and worry about it and let ourselves have that anxiety and depression, but in the now, that doesn't service us. And so that goes against all the lessons of self-defined living, to sit in this piece of it, right? And I wanted to make sure that's not really where it was coming from. And no, I don't think so. Um, I think some of it is my empathic nature. I can feel it, the shift in the energy of the people around me, and the world around me definitely has shifted. Um, and it's something, some of it I think is the time of year, and some of it has definitely been this worry around the election. And so That is part of it. But as I sat in it longer, I realized that I'm really feeling a little lost right now. Um, and as I was thinking about why do I feel so lost, which is of course where I went next, I it's part of this transition I think that I'm in where I've really committed to recentering around all of the things that I teach with self-defined living, focusing on it more in my life, and also creating more things for you guys out there, which in turn builds up my energies too, and is all part of the motivation. And when I was doing this, 2 years ago, and I was really in the height of it before we decided to move, my life felt very, what's the word? I don't wanna say in control because it never feels in control, but it felt like mine, right? And I was making really good decisions, and I didn't feel codependent on a job like I feel right now. And I didn't feel, kind of codependent on what was going on in our community, right? Whether or not I got involved in those things felt optional to me then, and all of those things. And that stuff has really shifted. And what that means is as I eliminate those things from my life, as I say, I don't want to do those things, and I want to shift away from DEI, which means because I don't want to spend as much time on social media and all of these things. And it just, I don't know, this weekend, Blue Sky got had a big push this, and everyone in our community has been, oh, join me on Blue Sky, join me on Blue Sky. And I realized though, but I don't want to, right? I really don't want to. And I'm feeling very much that I need a period of self-isolation, that I'm lost because I'm detached from self in some kind of weird way. And that in concerning myself too much, right? With the codependency of a job and the codependency of social media and all of those things, it adds to that whole effect of comparing yourself to other people all the time, and comparing where you're at versus where they're at. And these days, that adding to that is not just my autism, but my age, and just feeling like, am I just done here? Am I just done? Right. Um, and that's been really hard to swallow, and I think that's where the depression has come from, is like this I'm like a little lost soul right now. I was so heavily focused on the things that I was doing that I really was not enjoying and weren't very good for me, but I needed to do, and I'm now safely past that phase, and I'm in this rest phase, which I desperately need. But as I'm sitting in the rest, what I'm finding is that I don't know what to do when I'm done being tired. And I hope that makes sense to everyone. Like, I don't know exactly what I wanna pick up and do when I'm done being tired. I know I have plans for us and our things and the things I wanna create for us, and that's a great outlet for me, but there's more to it than just that. That's such a small piece of what I do for the autism community and such a small piece of what it is that I do with my life and my hours, right? Maybe I want that to shift. Maybe I want to be doing more of this with more of my time, right? Um, but in this moment, I'm unsure, right? And I've started to question. I've had imposter syndrome this weekend, and I started to question whether I'm even doing the right thing, by staying in our community. Am I even making a difference? Or, is it just, am I just done? Right? It's like that feeling. And if I'm done, what do I replace that with? Because when you eliminate, and I think that was something I should share with you, it's like as I'm eliminating all of these things, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that. I can't find the thing that I want to do more of to add back in. And I hope that makes some sense. And that's that lost feeling, is I don't have that new special interest. I don't have that adventure that I'm looking forward to. I don't have those pieces coming together. So yes, I've stopped doing a lot of the things that I don't want to be doing, and I'm really working on pulling my energy back from those things, right? And as I'm resting and recovering, what is it that I'm going to do once I'm rested and recovered? And that's where I'm sitting. So that's kind of where I'm at with all of it. I don't wanna really particularly do Blue Sky, is what I wanna say to everyone. I didn't like Twitter, and I don't wanna replace it with anything. I'm somebody who really enjoys visuals. That's not really my jam, and I don't honestly want to spend a lot of time doing engagement with people who aren't in alignment with me. And that's what social media is. It's a lot of engagement with people who aren't necessarily in alignment with you. And so that feels like a wrong choice. And I don't want to be bullied into it. And that makes me feel old and like all kinds of other things. Um, and so I think what I'm discovering is that I have a little more research to do. I have a little more thinking to do. And so um, I'm gonna sit with that a little bit longer, and, um, at least I have some understanding, I think, of where the source of this kind of low feeling is coming from. Of course, I know, I mean, I don't wanna pretend like it's not part of it. I know that I have seasonal depression, seasonal affect whatever it is, affective disorder, and I know that I have overall major depressive disorder. I'm somebody who sits in a state of that's the result of my years and years of trauma and unaddressed anxiety, right, has led to this space, and that will never go away. So I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, the things I teach you in self-defined living will make that go away. They do not make that go away. That is my reality, right? But what I do try to do is to not fall into that tempting place of obsession and almost like an addiction to feeling low, to just sitting in that cycle of being low, right? Because if I allow myself, right, I've done it already for years in my past, to sit in that. And getting back up from that is really hard and painful and all kinds of things. And so, what I'm really trying to do is not get rid of all the depression because that will never happen. But how can I balance it out a little bit more so that I don't have to be at the bottom of the pit, right? Or maybe I'm just hanging out at the rim a little bit, like, "Brr." That would be nice, right? If I could just kind of keep myself there on the rim instead of getting sucked down into that pit this winter. And so I have some thinking to do about that. And I would love to hear your thoughts and ideas. Like, what does our community need? What do our people need? The folks of us who are trying to do this personal development journey while accepting all the components of our identity and all of that stuff. What do we need more of? Um, what could I be focusing on? Right? There are things that I'm interested in, and things that I want to know more about. And so I kind of have to find my place in that. And that's what I'm gonna do. That's how I think I'm gonna function through this depression. I don't wanna chase it away because it's coming from somewhere. And I have to figure out what it is. Like, what is it? What gets me pumped these days? What is something I'm excited about? What fills me up? I have to go find that thing. And this can be a really hard space to be in, as anybody who has ever um, had to mourn a special interest, or anything like that, or made other shifts in their lives. There's always this little bit of grief, I think, that comes along with it. And maybe that's part of the depression too, um, is that little bit of grief for what I thought might have been happening, right, of my path. Um, but yes, so that is sort of where I've been at and what I've been thinking about, and the gratitudes that I have around it are really pretty great, which, is that, first of all, I'm really grateful that I have finally kind of accepted fully with myself that I'm somebody who will always live in depression. That suicidal ideations and suicidal feelings are never too far away, right? They're like a couple of days off my medication away, right? All the time. And that's the result of a lot of trauma that I probably won't in my lifetime heal entirely from. And that is something I have to just, some of it is my body chemistry, some of it is my body chemistry as a result of trauma. And those two parts don't go away so fast. I get these other pieces that float around like seasonal depression that kind of load on top of that load, which is what makes it so difficult. Um, but I'm really grateful that I've come to learn that I will never be off my meds, and I will always kind of live with this piece of myself. Um, and I just have to learn how to do it well. Like, I need how to learn how to surf the waves well. And that's the place that I'm in right now, is sort of in that, I don't know, yeah, phase, which you guys, I'm sure, will recognize. So I leave you those things to think about. What could I do more of? What are some ideas? What are some of your special interests? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in chat. Let me know what you're thinking about. I could certainly use some input from like-minded individuals. That would be very helpful to me. Oh, with that, I have other things I want to share with you. So, and I have them all laid out next to me so that I don't forget. So, first things first, I want to share with you this fantabulous meme that I ran across this morning that I think is a really interesting way to head into this was my aha depression moment was when I saw this meme. Weird that memes do that to you, but here's what it is. It says to be content doesn't mean you don't desire more. It means you're thankful for what you have and patient for what's to come. And that's Tony Gaskins, they say. But this was just a random meme that I ran across in my life, and I saved it because I thought that's exactly what it is. I'm content, right? But I still want more, even though I'm content. And I have to work on that patience bit a little bit. I really do. I'm not a patient person by nature, and that is certainly a part of my personality that I need to work on. And so that's my last thought on the depression bit was this kind of meme that sent me along my way. And so I am content, but I still desire more, and I have to figure out what that more is, right? Then let's brighten things up with a little bit of good news. Guess what? So excited. My little book, my little tiny book, was spotted in the wild by a friend. What? Yes, take a look at that. Hard to see. Hold on. Oh, even harder to see the lamp in front of me. There you go. I managed to do it. There it is. Spotted in the wild by a friend randomly in Atlanta airport. My book is somebody's plane read. That's amazing. And that really, really is something I'm grateful for. That is a gratitude I definitely have to share with you guys. Because what a good one, right? Grateful to my friend for sharing it with me. Grateful for you snagging the photo without the head so that I could share it with others. And that's sort of a weird, great feeling to think about somebody that I don't know from Adam is out in Atlanta airport, just like, oh, this is a good, short, quick read. Let me grab it for the flight and reading my book. So I had to share that with you guys because that's another one of those little moments, right? It feels tiny in the scheme of things, but when I return to it, look how big the smile gets on my face. So that's how I have to manage this, right? That's the solution. There's these little things. So those are two little gratitudes, but here's the big one. Here is the big one. What's your word? myintent.org, not sponsored, but feel free to sponsor me. They're currently having a 30% off sale. So if you want to follow in my footsteps, this is their holiday sale time where you can get your little word for the year at 30% off. So I thought I'd share that with you. But mine arrived. It's the great reveal, you guys. And they send things in just the cutest way. It's just in this little tiny package that says, what's your word? Right? And then they send you a little paper that it's a little blank card and you get to say about your word. I choose blank, my word, whatever your word is, because, and you write yourself a little note. And then you say, I commit to these three things. And you can hang it on your wall to remind you why you picked your word. They're just handing out the self-defined living tools for me, right? And then on the back, of course, you're invited to share them publicly. On their website and things like that. If you want to share your word as an accountability tool, you can definitely do that. And I love that, right? What a great, yes, that's what I mean. They're all out there for us to use. And then your little word comes in its little bag. And so I have all my words saved in my very first bag, somewhere here in my desk, maybe, or upstairs. Don't remember at this moment. And then it comes in this little zippy bag that you can hang on to and use for other things, of course. And it says and I love this, and I wish maybe this little thing is just its own little thing. Our mission is to be a catalyst for meaningful conversations and positive action. What? Meaningful conversations and positive action, right? So I feel like even their mission, when I buy the bracelet and participate, is part of my mission, right? It's also aligned. Ooh, I just got goosebumps. It's also aligned. And then your little bracelet that somebody, right? And mine was made by Fren. It says back, or Jen, sorry, I think it says Jen. Mine was made by Jen. It says so in the back. They sign their names, right? And my little bracelet is here and swung about and managed and ready for me. Now, are you ready for me? Because here is my word. No, you won't be able to see it, but there it is. Right there. Maybe you can make it out. Oh, there it is. Did you get it? Spot it? Okay, let's talk about it because the word is here. So my word for 2025 is fructify. What? I'm going to say it again. Fructify, right? I talked about fertilize last week, which was really close to for me, but that word, man, it reminded me of poop, and I couldn't get away from the whole manure fertilizer thing. And so I kept searching, and I came across this fantastic word called fructify. And fructify captures it entirely. Not only that, but it's fun to say in that really fun echolalia way. I could just say fructify all over the place. And it's an uncommon word. It's a word I don't hear all the time. It's very specific for me. Of course, it's an action word. So let me share with you what that word means, right? It means fructified or fructifying, whatever, but it is fructified to bear fruit. Remember, I was talking about how I planted all these seeds and now I need to watch them grow. And what are they? I want to reap the rewards, I said, from the seeds that I've planted. And if my plants bear fruit, hmm right? How good is that? That's what I want to spend this year doing. I want to take care of my plants so that they bear fruit. I want to take care of what I'm doing with self-defined living. I want to create this Patreon and this newsletter so that it bears fruit for you guys, right? I need to keep working those things to support that. Fructify. Say it again because it's really fun. All right. And it also is to make fruitful or productive, to make something you've created productive. Yes. Yes. Right? This is my word, right? Also, I really feel strongly that this word, because it feels so good to me and that I enjoy saying it, is definitely like that was how I knew it was the right word. So I'm prepared. I'm ready. This is the energy I'm heading into 2025 with. Bearing fruit, being productive, right? Not creating more, not planting new seeds, right? But tending to what I have already planted so that it bears fruit. Yeah? I hope it makes sense to you guys because it made really good sense to me. And when I found it, I was like, yes, yes to this weird F word that will be so personal to me, right? That the minute I say it, I picture in my head an apple tree with big, shiny red apples on it, right? Big, healthy apple tree. Like when I went apple picking this year with its beautiful fruit on it. And the minute I picture that, I'm like, yes, fructify. That's what I want. Right. So I did it, got the word. That's my word. Can't tell you how many times I've said this word just now and there, but a lot. Right. And I did it because I want you to understand it's also special in that way. And that's how we pick our themes. That's how I pick my F word. That's how you can pick your themes if it's a couple of words or a meme or whatever works for you. And then make sure that you put it up like a reminder and you carry it with you. Still have Forge on. I will forge ahead until December 31st. And then on January 1st, I switch to my new mindset, right? My next mindset. Take everything I've learned from Forge and I wrap it up into a nice little envelope and I carry it with me into 2025 with the energy of fructify. And that's how it works year into year into year. You continue the growth, right? Doesn't matter. You don't have to use the myintent.org. You don't have to do a what's your word bracelet, right? You can do it in post-it notes, which I have. Shoot, there they are. You see my post-it notes right there? They are on my wall. And they have all these little reminders and sayings on there that I need when my meetings get tough or when I've hit a dead spot in my writing or I'm not sure what to write about on social media, right? They're there, they're reminders. So use them, use what you need to create those things. And so I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear about your themes that you end up picking. I want to hear if you picked a word or an F word. I want to know what those are. And I want to know what you think of my F word. How did I do picking for next year? And what are you kind of on? What are you on those thoughts on that new year? How are you going into 2025? Because I tell you, we are more than halfway through November. December is on its way, and I promise you it will disappear so fast. So be ready, be thinking, right? How am I heading into 2025? Right. And with that, I say it is time for us to go. Glasses change. I'll have Mr. Rogers because I'm so old. And I remind you once again that this is Growing Gratitude. I'm Becca Lori Hector. I'm here every Monday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, where we talk about the challenges of being an autistic adult and how we motivate ourselves through those challenges with gratitude. And I want to remind you, of course, a weekly reminder that as you're heading into this week, it is your priority to take care of your meat suit, to take care of your headspace, and to keep your eyes and ears and hands and heart open to all the glimmers that are out there, because those are the things that keep us going, right? Little things like someone sending you a picture of your book in Atlanta airport. That's how it works. Have a good week, you guys. I'll see you next Monday. And if you feel like chatting, I'll see you out on social media. Bye.